Hello and welcome to the Shaken Up Show Playing Away, episode 25, coming to you direct from COVID jail. I've been very poorly this week, but I wanted to get this interview out for you to let you know everything you need to know about our upcoming opponents, Bacup Borough. This week's guest is Head of Media, Steve Brown, but before we get him on, just want to let you know that tickets are on sale for our last home game of the season at www.buryafc.uk/tickets, and tickets aren't on sale for this weekend's game against Bacup because it's pay on the gate, so get down there, represent us well. And a last thing, it looks like the Golka tickets are sold out. It doesn't look like they're going to be giving us any more. We are monitoring the situation, and if they do turn around and say we can have some more, we will let you know. But without further ado, Steve, welcome to the show. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much indeed for inviting me on the show.
It's my pleasure. Now, we all know Steve, Bacup Borough. He's been to the Nuven. But for those that don't,
Yeah.
Steve, can you introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved at Bacup?
Well, my name's Steve Brown. I've been involved at Bacup Borough for about 3 years now. I've worked in radio previously. I was a radio presenter for a good 10 years over in Yorkshire on several radio stations. And I got talking to Brent Peters one day, as you do, if you can get a word in edgeways.
Did he stop?
And well, yeah, he did stop just to let me introduce myself. But I got talking to Brent, and during that discussion, we spoke about joining the media team at Bacup Borough Football Club and taking it forward. And that's as far as we got. And then we had a chat. I believe it was back in late 2019, and he kind of talked me into joining the media team. So we had a little conversation, and I've been there ever since, and thoroughly enjoying it.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Now, Bacup are based in Bacup, obviously, but for those that don't know, whereabouts in Bacup are they based and what's the name of the stadium?
Well, the name of the stadium is the Brian Boyce Stadium. A lot of people will know it as Cowtoot Lane. It's situated outside of the town centre on the road heading towards Burnley. So if you head into the centre of Bacup, do a left turn and head up past Burnley Road. It's on an housing estate probably around about 400 metres outside the town centre. So pretty close to the town centre of Bacup.
Fantastic. Now, I'm right in thinking that it's graded for quite a large attendance. The cap, it's not a small capacity, is it? In terms of Northwest counties.
Yeah, I believe it's round about the 2,000 mark. I know that several years ago, FC United were the visitors to the Brian Boyce Stadium. That's the biggest crowd they've had. I think there were just under 2,000 there on that afternoon. But it is around about 2,000 mark. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to hold that many because there's a lot of changes taking place at the moment. But on the capacity, it is down at 2K.
So you've just answered my next question, which is brilliant. Which was what's the recent record attendance? Now you know we travel well. I don't think we'll get 2,000, but I think it'd be good if we get over 1,000 in there. I reckon 1,200 on Saturday, especially with you lot fighting for playoffs. We're fighting obviously for the number one spot against Holker. So no, we're in for a good day. The next question that I've got is, because I don't know, has the club got a nickname?
As far as I'm aware, it's the Borough.
The Borough.
That's the nickname. That's what I've been calling it ever since I've been there. I've not heard any other supporters call it anything different. So as far as I'm aware, it's simply the Borough.
Fantastic. Simple. Easy. We've not got an official nickname, so I don't even know why I ask. It's just an interesting fact, isn't it? Okay, so next question. Talking about interesting facts, have you got any interesting facts about the club or any historic players of note that our fans might find interesting? They don't have to be from 50 years ago. They could be from last year. They could be from a decade ago.
Well, an interesting one is that Bacup Borough goes all the way back to 1879. You know, it's an old club, as Bury FC is an old club. A lot of old clubs in the East Lancashire region. One of the founder members of the Football League, and over the years, a lot of your supporters will know Brent Peters from his time at Bury FC. Worked with the likes of Martin Dobson and Frank Casper and Stant Turnant down the years, and he's always been able to attract. He calls it attracting Rolls Royce players on mini minor money. And if you look at some of the players he's brought in, how he's managed to bring these people in is simply through a passion for the game. You know, over the years we've had David May. Who would have thought that David May, a treble-winning footballer in Manchester United, will come and put a Bacup Borough shirt on? But he did. Ben Thornley, another Manchester United player who put on the Borough shirt over the last couple of years. He also worked with the likes of there was a goalkeeper at Manchester City at the time who he's worked with. But he's worked with a lot of players and brought them to Bacup Borough on a shoestring. How he's managed to achieve that is just through the passion for the game. Yeah. But as a club over the years, there's been a lot of things going on. I believe that the team's played there since the early 1900s at Cowtoot Lane, which is the Brian Boyd Stadium. So there's a lot of history involved in the club. And when the supporters go on Saturday, there is part of the sports bar which has got a lot of memorabilia, a lot of photographs connected to the history. So it should be interesting for the fans who make the trip.
Fantastic. Well, if I'm out of COVID jail by then, I will be sure to check that out. Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the players that you wouldn't think could turn out at this level, and sometimes it's just purely for the love of the game and wanting to still kick a ball about on a Saturday. It's like Joe Scars at Golka. It's purely because he loves the game. People are like, oh, you must be paying him loads, and it's not. It's just because he wants to put a shirt on Saturday, kick a ball about. He's probably the happiest he's ever been playing football up there, I reckon, Scarsy. One of my favourite Bury players, so that's why I brought him up. And I'm hoping to get him on the show next week.
Always a method in your madness.
Definitely, and this is madness. So, moving on to... No, I've got one more question before I move on to that, actually. So, in your time at Bacup Borough, all the non-league teams that you've come up against and they've come to your place or you've gone to this, who is the best player that you've seen play against Bacup Borough in non-league? And this isn't a scouting question.
No. I saw a guy a few weeks ago playing for St Helens Town. A lad called Elliot Hughes. Centre forward, really good on the ball, looks very composed, and looks like he's certainly got a couple of levels in him. I watched him a few weeks ago, but then he came back to our place in the league game. Maybe it was something to do with, maybe the surface, the pitch didn't suit him, and he looked out of sorts. But in the game down at the Arco Frames, he was very impressive. Another St Helens player, it's a guy number 7, plays out on the wing. I'm not sure of his name now. But then, of course, you guys have got a good one that I love, and I watched in the first game, and I've continued with his progress, and that's Abasotto. Hopefully that's how you pronounce his name. Probably not.
Little abs, not big abs, because there's two. We've got two abs Abasotos.
Yeah, the guy on the wing who scored. We were talking about him off air. The lad who scored last week.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He played absolutely brilliant against us in the first game without your players, and should have really scored in the first 2 minutes when he curled that beautiful shot towards the corner. The keeper was beaten, and it came bouncing off the post. So there are a lot of quality players at this level, and he is an handful, and he's an handful for anybody.
What I always say is at this level, it isn't all too dissimilar to, even though we're right down in the basement of semi-professional football, it's not all too different from watching a League Two team or a conference team. The difference is just the not the commitment. I'm not going to say the commitment. It's it might not have felt right for the player, or they've got other things going on, but they still want to play football, or they've come down to prove and they're going to move up the ladder. And it's fantastic. It's some of the players I've seen. That lad at that lad up front for Steeton.
Briggs, eh?
Oh no, is it the forward or is it the winger?
It could be. It could either be Kyle Price.
Kyle Price.
Yeah. Very tricky player, and of course you've got Andy Briggs.
Yeah.
Both are equally brilliant in their own right, but Kyle Price has certainly got the ability to play Vanarama National League level. As far as I'm concerned.
Oh no, definitely, and a lot at Holker as well. Flynn, some player. Golker, not Holker.
Yeah, Ashley Flynn, the centre forward, stocky player.
Yeah, I think he's been on the bench the past few weeks. I don't know if he's had a knock but he's a player. I'll move on to my next question.
Okay.
Getting back to not history, but the last couple of years. So with 2021 season being chalked off, it's been a bit crap for non-league football. What's it like being in and around Bacup Borough in that period? How's the team been? Have they stayed together? Have you had to make changes?
I think Brent and Dave Felgate have done really well in keeping the lads together. A lot has been said about Brent signing players on contract, but if you think about it, what he's doing is just protecting assets. Now, people say, well, you can't have assets at North West Counties level. But if you sign the contracts properly, you can, because it's not going to cost you anything. Now, people automatically think, oh, a player's on a contract, he's picking up money. That's not always the case. What you do, you come up with a situation which is good for the player and good for the club, and you'll find that player does not cost you a single bean. But what it does, it protects the player from potential jackals and other clubs who want to come and pinch your best players.
Yeah.
And they need, and when you're putting a lot of time and effort into them through coaching, which I know that Dave Felgate does, and Jimmy Petrucci, the conditioning coach, and Dave Felgate, who's an experienced professional coach at a Premiership club, when they're spending time with these lads, the last thing you want is someone down the road or wherever it may be coming and stealing your players. If they, you don't want them coming down to get a player for a bag of balls and a few cones. If they want to come and get a player, then they're going to have to part company with some money.
I do,
because that's the business.
I do get the brief mention off the club sec sometimes about the amount of 7 days we're getting. It's a lot.
I bet they're frightening at your place.
Don't think the printer stops, to be honest. But
so,
that's
yeah, what was the question again, John? Sorry.
Even though you've answered it quite well, it was, how's it been over the past couple of seasons, just trying to keep the team together with COVID and stop-start and only playing 6 games or whatever it was last year, and the melodrama of the league results didn't count, and then all of a sudden they did, and I
think that part was quite difficult for Brent at the time, because, like you said, they weren't going to use the points. and then they did. And some clubs got lucky. You know, there was one club just down the road from where you are
No comment.
that got very lucky. But
Best luck.
that was just that was just the luck of the draw at the time.
It's just how it fell, in it.
And then you had other clubs like the likes of, I think at the time, AFC Liverpool and Lower Breck, who ran away with it, who really should have benefited, and unfortunately, on that occasion, never did. So,
yeah,
you know, they felt it quite severely, didn't they, at the time?
Yeah. But we've moved on, and we're into a new season. We're nearly all the way through it.
We are, mate. We are.
And it's not going too bad this year. What have you got? Have you got 3 games left like us, or have you got 4 games left?
I think we've got 5 because
5.
We've got the rearrangement games. We've got Olka Old Boys who need
Gonna do us a favour there, aren't you?
Well, I'm hoping we're going to do ourselves a favour, but yeah, it has come down to that kind of situation where we can, you know, Bacup has become quite pivotal in what happens this season.
Because you've got to play both of us.
We've got to play both of you.
Yeah.
And then we've got to play Dayshill as well, which is a rearrangement fixture.
Is that at Dayshill?
No, at Borough.
Right.
So I think we've got 5 altogether, but yeah, it's looking quite interesting now, isn't it? It's really hotting up for everybody.
I've not looked at the table since last night's results. Are you still in the top 5?
We're not. We're outside that now.
Is it by like a point or goal difference?
I think there's 2 points. We've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
But of course, you want points, not games in hand. But yeah, if we could get the points on Saturday, that would maybe throw us straight back into the mix again. But I believe that where we stand from a playoff point of view, it's going to be down to ourselves, AFC Blackpool, Pilkington, and even Nelson, who have had a fantastic run.
Nelson have just come up from the rear, haven't they?
Harrison's team have come from nowhere.
He messaged us the other week just asking what was going on. I just had to say to him, where have you boys come from? You're doing really well. It's just one of them things, isn't it? And Blackpool, they've been so hot and cold all season, and I think they've just got the strength to keep... I think they'll keep going. So you're going to have to... I think you'll have to match them on results. Like us with Holker.
It's going to be difficult for you guys at the top end, and it's going to be difficult for us for the playoffs. It's going right to the wire, and I believe it's going to go right to the final game of the season.
It's exciting. That's what it is.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Right. What is my next question? What are your thoughts on how you think we're going to come at you ahead of the game on Saturday? How do you think we'll line up? I know you're gonna say who do you think you're gonna have to watch? Are you gonna have to stick 3 men on?
Well,
how do you think you'll approach the game?
I've enjoyed watching 2 of your players this season. I've enjoyed what I mentioned him earlier. I think Abasoto out on the left-hand side is great. He does like to come in on that right foot. So if we can take him down the line rather than let him come in on the inside, that's going to help us. On the other side, I'm a massive fan, and I've watched him quite a lot. And he's been in the team and he's been out of the team. But when I've watched him in the team, Gilboy is a fantastic talent. And I think he's got levels, that lad.
Lewis came from Accrington's academy. That's where we picked him up from.
Yeah, and he's really good. He's another player who likes to drive at defences. And before you know it, you're inside your area and you can't make a tackle. And then when you've got the firepower of, Tom up front, who has been around the block 20 times and knows exactly where to be and knows how to pull the trigger. He's a fantastic talent. And also a new player, a player who I used to cover before when I was in the media. I was part of the media team at Cone, Ben Wharton, another excellent footballer. Hasn't got the pace, but certainly got the intelligence.
His first touch is the best I've seen in the league. Just beyond anybody in the league. You could kick a ball 60 foot in the air and he'd just stop it.
Totally agree. I watched Ben for quite a few seasons under Steve Cunningham at Cone, and his positional sense and his clinical finishing in front of. If he gets a sniff, it's in, and that's where we've got to nurse him. We've got to make sure we have people on him. Are you going to beat us for pace at the back, through the middle? But no. Are you going to beat us down the flanks? Possibly, but we have got two good, versatile, speedy wing backs.
Well, you mentioned them when I think briefly when I spoke to you at the Newven. Are they quite young, newish lads that he's brought through?
Yeah, well, we've got the wing backs. We've got Brad Hancock at left back, and we've got Josh Waln at right back. But going forward, we could cause you a problem. If you've watched Bacup, I know a lot of people have. We are pretty quick on the counter attack because we've got young lads. We've got the likes of Carl Siddle down one wing, Alex Mellor down the other. But if you're going to cause us a problem, I think where the battle's going to be won is in midfield. And you've got a very, very strong midfield. It's been there all season. So that could be where you're going to hurt us and penetrate kind of into our final third. But down the flanks, we're going to have to watch you because Gilboy and Abasoto have always got a trick.
It's going to be a very, very exciting game.
It will be an exciting game, John. And the thing is as well, the pitch. We all know that Bacup Borough's pitch, and the manager won't mind me saying it's not the best pitch in the world. And it could be a leveler.
Yeah, it's not a dribbler's pitch.
It's not a dribbler's pitch.
No. Okay.
Not like that beautiful pitch at Ratcliffe that you've got.
Billy is the man.
Billy is the man.
So, as we come to the end, I've just got a couple more questions. Obviously, your place is opening from 12:30? Is that what I've seen on social media?
Yeah, we're going to open up from 12:30. As you know, probably one of your questions, we've decided, I spoke off air with you, we've decided we don't want to make it, we're not going to make it a ticket game. We were going to I was going to go on to Ticket Co like you guys do and like you've done all season, but we thought, you know what, if people come to the ground with plenty of time and don't come all at the same time, there's no reason why people can't do what they normally do, and that's pay on a gate.
That's fantastic. And you've got card facilities and cash facilities as well, haven't you?
Yeah, the cash facilities will be primarily on the turnstile. If you want to pay with card, then you'll just go through the main entrance. There will be, I believe, there are going to be stewards on the game. We are bringing in some professional stewards from Accrington Stanley who haven't got a game that day. So we are going to have stewards on the day directing all the supporters into the ground, whether that be by cash payment or by card payment.
Fantastic. And for those early travellers that may get there before 12:30, where would you recommend they go for a pint and a bite to eat beforehand?
Well, because it's very close to the town centre, I don't often go drinking in Bacup, if I'm being honest, but there are a couple of pubs just about 400 metres away, just in the town centre, and then it's just a short walk up to Cowtoot Lane. But that's about it. There's probably about 4 or 5 pubs in the town centre. Nothing very close to the ground, but the ground will be open from 12:30 onwards. So, and I suppose if someone's going to come early, John, to the game, they're not going to be turned away. The door's going to be open. They can come in.
Fantastic. And I've got one. Excuse me. One final question for you. My voice hasn't failed me all the way through this, and now it's just starting to go. Final question is, And it's not what you think the score's going to be. I've stopped asking it. What is the one thing that you would say to those that haven't been to watch their local non-league side to convince them to come and give it a chance?
It's real. The people are real. The players are real. The volunteers are real. Everything's real about non-league football.
I think you could have just stopped at "it's real," to be honest. It would have been quite
real.
Profound, you know.
It's real. John, you've been watching it. You guys have been watching it. You've been down watching all season like you have been. It's real, isn't it, mate? It's good.
It is. The tackles are real, the football's real, the pies are real, the beer's real. You can stand on the terraces and drink it with your mates. And yeah, sometimes you might get a bit wet because there's no roof, but it's football and it's real. There we go. Steve, I'm going to let you go before I start coughing my guts up. Thank you very much for coming on. And if I'm out of COVID jail, I'll see you on Saturday.
I'm sure you will be. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all at Cowtoot Lane.
Thanks, Steve, for coming on the show and talking to us all about Bacup Borough. We've got 3 league games left. That's 9 points. We win all 3. The title is ours. We need to keep going. Get down to the games. Support the lads, loud and proud. Come on, I'm Jonny. See you later.